Hey, what's going on? Shelton Banks here, aka Mr. Get This Work. Want to talk to you about something that's really been on my mind lately. Sales. So a lot of people, when they think about sales, they oftentimes think of the profession as like this sleazy, commission only. You gotta work really hard, and a lot of people get them to buy things that they don't want. And while there are some salespeople that are like that, that's not always the case. And so in this video, I'm gonna talk a little bit about tech sales, why it's a viable career option. And if you were thinking about making the switch into tech sales, I'm gonna give you 5 reasons on why you probably should.
This work. I'm gonna get this work. Be ready to get this work.
Get this work.
Get this work.
Come get this work.
So the first reason why you should probably look into tech sales, the money, of course. So let's break this down a little bit, right? So when I talk about money, I'm talking about the base pay that you receive for just coming to work, doing your job, and then the on-target earnings that you get from the commission that you make, right? The base pay alone is better than majority of the jobs that are out there where you get paid way less to do a lot more. So any retail job where you gotta go in and deal with the general public and their attitudes, any job where you got to stand in the cold, any job where you got to drive back and forth to work over 2 hours commuting, any job in hospitality where you're serving, I mean, that may be for some people, but like those jobs had them days where like you giving up your weekends to like deal with moody people, especially around tax time where folks get hood rich and they start acting funny. Like, man, those jobs, they don't get paid enough. And so in comparison, tech sales, the base salary usually starts for entry-level role anywhere between 45 to 60,000 for a job where you're literally getting paid to have business-minded conversations with business-minded professionals about their business, not about personal stuff. On top of that, when you tackle on the actual commissions that you could be earning from these sales, I mean, that first $10,000 paycheck hit different, especially when you realize you only worked maybe 40 hours a week to do it. And so definitely the paycheck, the pay is just, again, in comparison to the lots of bogus and jobs that you get paid and asked to do more for less, tech sales pay is different. And the beautiful part is like you don't have to be an engineer or a coder and go into debt to figure out like how to get a certificate. Tech sales, the return on investment, like literally you're getting paid for being a personality, for being you, which no school can teach you. So imagine if you didn't go into debt, college, a certificate, whatever program, if you didn't go into debt, and now you getting this job where you're making, like I said, a base pay of 60 plus the extra 40 in commission, you at 6 figures and you don't gotta pay nobody back. Like the money is there. So thing number 2, the growth. So tech sales is one of those industries that's, it's extremely fun and challenging at the same time. I remember like getting my first like career-based job. I came in with this mentality of like, I'm gonna get there early and like I'm gonna work my hardest and I got all these innovative ideas. And it's like them types of jobs I didn't want to hit at. Like when I used to work in banking, and man, I would go hard for the bank. Bank wouldn't necessarily go hard for me. And a lot of companies is like that way. You like, man, you coming in, you want to change things up, want to make things better, and they not trying to hit at. Tech sales not like that. Tech sales is one of those industries where like you get good at one thing, they like, man, they want to hear about it. They like, how did you do that? Teach the rest of the company. Then once you teach the rest of the company, we gonna make you get to this next level where you gonna learn a new skill set. And so, the growth is amazing. I think, so for me, I didn't go to college, and I used to wonder like, man, what if I would have went to school and got my MBA or something? And now like looking back, when I talk to people that have gotten an MBA and like working in places that they don't even get to use or apply the things that they learned in school, because they're basically an order taker somewhere. They work just like a 9 to 5 and it's just basic. Tech is just, again, so innovative. Like it's always new technology coming up, new things that you got to learn, new things, new problems to figure out, new problems to solve. And so every day, you're working with a different in tech sales, you're working with a different business to figure out a problem. So naturally, you working with all these different businesses, you get this expansive world view of how business works, sometimes how businesses don't work, but either way, it's all for the sake of your growth. And it's recession proof. Like, you go into tech sales, you will never not have a job again. There's a new tech company every day, I feel like, where somebody comes up with like an invention or a piece of software where they're like, man, this can solve and change the world. And they will always need people to articulate the value that their product brings. And so for that reason, you would never not have a job, one. And two, it's just like you will grow. You will grow better than you. At least for me personally, I've grown more just being surrounded by tech than I did at any other company. I grew more than I did at the bank, working at Nordstrom's, the retail, like the growth. Number three, so the flexibility. I remember it was times it was like, man, you got to call off. One, let's just back up. So the flexibility is crazy. So a lot of these tech companies, they offer a limited paid time off vacation policy. Unlimited paid time off. They encourage you to take time off, keep yourself well for your health. The jobs that I had growing up, a lot of times like to get a day off, like just like a mental health day. Let's just say like you just, not a scheduled vacation, just a day where you just like, man, I'm bothered by something. I can't do this today. You almost got to call your boss and either be sick or somebody got to die for you to get some time off. Tech sales not like that. So flexibility that they give you to kind of like run your business like a business, to be able to take time off when you need it, to be able to like work hard and play hard. And so if you want to take, a whole week off, 2 weeks off, you want to take a week off a month. If you're doing your job and you're making the company money, they like, man, go for it. Whatever keep you happy, whatever keep you bringing in the dough, they all for it. So the flexibility is there. And even if you don't take time off, a lot of people in tech, they take workations where you could work from anywhere in the world and get these jobs done just because it's tech, it's software, it uses the internet. So if you got an internet connection, you could work from anywhere. And so the flexibility is crazy. And at the end of the day, a lot of people, when I think about flexibility, I think about like a lot of people's biggest like pushback when it comes to sales and like commission. And, everybody, at least my mentality about this is that everybody is on commission. The only difference is like if you work just like a regular job that doesn't have the typical commission, your commission is hours. Like you got to make 40 hours a week, 50 hours a week in order to get that paycheck. Tech sales, commission is commission. Where it's like, man, if I close a deal, if it take me 1 hour to close a deal, I could be done for the day. Take me 3 hours to close 3 deals, I may be done for the month. At the end of the day, it's all about, man, can you grow the bottom line? And the flexibility that most companies give you once you master the art of growing the bottom line, you can't beat it. Number fourth reason I'm saying get a tech sales is the culture. So interestingly enough, like, you'll hear a lot like tech lacks diversity, and it does lack diversity. It's 99.9% white dominated male industry. But the reality of it is, it's like they're aware that they have a problem, and for the most part, they want to do something about it. Like they're aware of like the microaggressions that exist, and it's like the conversations that are happening in the tech industry to make it a more diverse and equitable place is real and better than the places that I've been at where they ain't even talking about it. Honestly, like the way I think about it, I think about like industries like hospitality, like banking, that have been around for ages. It's like they're just stooped in negative, toxic culture, where it's just like, you almost gotta burn it down. You do have to burn it down to start over to be able to add and help people get ahead. Think about the tech industry, it ain't been around that long. Internet only been around for like 10 years. A lot of these companies, they ain't been around long enough to be enveloped in such toxic culture. And, for the people that get in, people of color that look like me, having an opportunity to like get in at the start of something and really like set the tone on like, man, this is the culture, my culture that I'm bringing to the table, me being authentic. I can't trade that. Now, don't get me wrong. Like sometimes these tech companies do some jacked up stuff. It's just like, all right, but all in all, in comparison to like the fake professionalism, I feel like I really learned what being an authentic professional is about from tech. I feel like other industries that I, worked in, again, like I worked in the banking industry, I worked in retail. When you show up as a professional, you gotta kind of button up uptight, and it was never the same person that you saw at work that you saw when I was off. Like, it was just like, I couldn't let my hair down to be a professional. I had to like show up this certain way. Tech industry, nah, man, I show up baseball caps, hoodies, talk my talk, and I bring, again, just a part of me to work every day. And bringing a part of me to work actually makes money. Like, not having a code switch, and don't get me wrong, like, again, it takes a minute for, a person that's transitioning in, if you're used to that like stuffy button-up culture of like, corporate America culture, like, it's different, but it's a good difference. I like it. The fifth reason, honestly, I mean, this is probably the biggest and take-home reason for me of like, man, why tech sales is the move. It's for the friends, for my family, for the community. So like, man, I'll be on Instagram, Facebook, social media. You see like, people, the girls take girls trips, guys take guys trips. And it's like, man, coordinate that type of stuff. I remember taking a vacation with the friends, and it was just like, man, I had to work around when people could get time off. And it was just like so complicated. Going out and kicking it was complicated. We'd go out and eat, and people concerned about like, oh, how much is my bill? And I only could put, $20.39, and you forget to chip in tax and a tip. And it's just complicated, right? And I gotta say that my life is different now. Majority of my friends in my inner circle, they all in tech. And man, we just roll different, man. We take vacations together. We ain't gotta worry about like, oh, can so-and-so get time off? Does so-and-so have money? Like, it's just the vibe is different. And we think different. We talk different. Like, conversations that we have, we talk about business development. And it's just, man, it's refreshing to see. Especially, I remember the days like back in the day when we'd be talking and really wouldn't be talking about nothing, where it's just like, oh, should we drink together? We'd go out and, hit a spot together. But like, conversations wasn't really about business. And I always wanted them to be. At least I wanted that to be a facet of something that we could talk about. And now to feel like I got that, like we had my friends over. We did a working day on a Friday. It was like 10 of us. And people was on their computer, making calls, checking emails. I mean, just doing their thing. And so I just feel like, ultimately my goal is to one day, like all us, get a big enough circle working in tech sales, where we say like, man, let's take a trip. And I want to be able to call United, call Delta and be like, hey man, I need 30 seats. Like, let me get group pricing on these flights. Let me get group pricing on these courtside seats. Like, just the overall experience to be able to do that for, again, the community is it's like my friends, is probably the selfish piece, but just think like if you did that for your circle, like, man, everybody in your circle was in tech sales, I mean, it'll hit different. It'll hit different. And so ultimately, I mean, that's one of the reasons why, Rework, this community exists. If you're not familiar with Rework, it's a 501c3 nonprofit organization that help people like me get jobs in the tech sales. And we do it in a way that you don't have to do it alone. So it's a little bit over 1,000 people that's a part of this community that's focused on training and basically giving people the game on how they can get jobs in the tech sales industry for free. And so if you're interested, hit up reworktraining.org. If you want to learn more. Next classes start every month. Next class starts January 16th. Go to reworktraining.org, hit the sign up as a candidate button. Application takes 2 minutes. Ultimately looking forward to, again, having more people be a part of this community that we're growing. More people making the money in tech sales, growing in tech sales. The flexibility, and ultimately growing this community where we changing the culture. We're about helping people get this work. That's what we do.